The Aztecs and the Incas had many similarities and differences that made them unique. There are many things that we can take a look when comparing these two different empires, but we are going to be focusing on the intellectual and arts that each one of them had.
Let's go ahead and begin by taking a look at the intellectual part of both societies. When we talk about their characteristics of being intellectual, we mean their philosophy, math and science, education, invention, and innovation.
We are going to start off by looking at the Aztecs. We really do not find a lot about their philosophy or math and science, but the main topic that we find is on invention and innovation, more specifically on their crops. Due to their environment, they had to find creative ways of getting water to their crops so they could produce the most food possible. What did they come up with? Chinampas. What are chinampas, you might be asking yourself. So chinampas is the act of dredging a rich and fertile muck from the lake's bottom and build it up into small plots of land.
The Incas did not have much to talk about in terms of the same topic, as there is not much to go with. Some things that we can mention though, it's one of their beliefs. The concept that sin is a violation of the established social and natural order. In terms of innovation and inventions, they were able to come up with an irrigation system. They use the water from the Andes. This is all mostly due to their lack of writing system. One of the things that we are able to use to try and get information from is from one of their techniques of recording data of the system known as the quipu. Quipu was a way of recording information using symbols and numbers. Many do not consider it a language, but a way of keeping data.
Now that we took a very quick and general look at the intellectual part of their societies, then let's go ahead and take a look at their arts. As previously, we are going to go ahead and start off with the Aztecs. The Aztecs did quite a lot of art, since they mostly use it for trade. Although one thing that might be considered somewhat of an issue is the simple fact that they actually had to import a lot of materials that they used to make their arts. The Aztecs also worked on bigger projects, such as statues. Some of the statues could be very elaborate and include a lot of different riches and rare materials.
Music was also considered largely important to them. It usually had a deep connection with their daily lives or wars and human sacrifice. Music in their society was so important that kids in school had to learn it. Not only was music used for enjoyment, it was also a way of passing on culture, sharing, and understanding of religion, and making emotional connection with the events of life.
Writing and literature was also part of their society. The main thing that we know of their language is that it used a Maya system that was composed of symbols to spell out different words. Interestingly, many of the things that they wrote were written down on books.
As you have seen, the Aztecs had a lot of information towards their art, but the Incas do not seem to have nearly as much to talk about. The easiest way of noticing this is looking at their literature and writing, which they do not seem to have until the Spanish first arrived. With the arrival of the Spanish, many of their arts were also destroyed, but the arts that we do know they had were agricultural products, textiles, pottery, jewelry, and craft goods. All of these items were mostly made for trade, just like the Aztecs.
Both of these major societies had many differences, but the main thing we are able to notice is that both of them dedicate a lot of time towards agriculture, technologies, and creating goods for trade.